Hi, welcome back to another episode of Two Guys All Things Tech. I am Tony Lucidi, Lucidi Technical Solutions, and this is my
Hello, I'm Kevin
co-host.
Deveci. Thank you, Anthony. I'm Kevin Deveci from American Workflows. I'm happy to be with my co-host today, Anthony, and happy to see you guys. Thanks for listening to us.
So we're continuing with our podcast series, Artificial Intelligence and Regulations. And this episode, we're going to talk about AI in healthcare, regulations or innovation first. So I want to start off by saying when I first, because I'm like, so again, the background here. Uh, Two guys, all things tech. We pick a pro, we pick a con, and we discuss topics. I'm the con guy. It's my nature. Kevin's the pro guy. I will say, when I first looked at this and saw healthcare, I'm like, it's going to be kind of hard for me to find something wrong with regulating healthcare, right? Because I'm not a big fan of healthcare, pharmaceutical, all the medical stuff, right? So my first thing is like, how the heck can I get a con out of this? So I was able to find a couple. So let's just start. So healthcare industry and regulation. First of all, let's just talk about what kind of AI could healthcare possibly implement, right? So if we're going to talk about regulations, what are we talking about?
Mhm.
What kind of AI? I mean, I can talk about billings. I can talk about accounting. When we start to get into patient data
Mhm.
is where I think where the regulatory stuff gets in, right? I mean, you want healthcare to process AI, to process financial records and get all their information. I'm okay with that, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I think we should go from the aspect of the data, from patients, right? Um, my first con is simply the healthcare industry can't even get a single consolidated database, right?
Mhm.
So let's even just stop right there for a second and say, do we even think the healthcare industry is ever even going to come up with the ability to utilize AI in some sort of format instead of the individual hospitals and healthcare institutions? So, because that's where it gets, in my opinion, that's where regulations start to hit the conversation is when healthcare starts getting a large repository of data, not just in individual hospitals. So,
Yeah, these are all important points. And when we look at the healthcare industry, just to your point, the data is pretty unstructured. So
mm,
depends on which health insurance that you have and which health organization or hospital that you go, they all have different databases,
correct.
especially if you are changing your healthcare, especially health insurance, which may happen, then you need to register with the hospital again, even though your information is there as a patient, your entire record, the data in the database needs to be updated because now you have a new insurance. And if you go to another hospital that different from what you typically go, then you need to register again. Now you have the same insurance, say, but then the hospital needs to put your information in their own database. So when you look at it, data is all over the
Right.
place, and depends also on which state too, right? So we are talking about New York State, but you may be traveling. You may be in New Jersey, you may be in Florida, Texas, could be anywhere. There is no centralized database.
Correct.
So the AI can do many different things in that sense. But then when we look at the regulation point of view, the challenge is state by state. Each state has a different way of handling data and requirements. So there is HIPAA as a
Yeah, that's a
federal
federal.
requirement, but that is followed by the state requirements, right? So it's pretty complex.
So
However,
are you saying that we have to first get to a federal level, right? Because I don't think AI is ever going to hit at a large level if we're trying to go from federal to state and integrate all of those little idiosyncrasies, right? And I'm not sure AI would even want to do that, right? So if it's just patient symptom diagnosis, right? Let's stick with just some basic.
Sure.
Can we get? I do think we can get a centralized data hub. The problem is the big boys don't want to play nice. So let's go under the premise that miraculously
Mhm.
we've have this large single data repository where healthcare is pumping you, and you have a digital twin in the healthcare space. All right, let's go under that. Why would you want regulation?
You better regulate it because we have no idea what they do in the background. So we all do. You have to have very strict regulations there in terms of how they collect the data, what they do with data. I met with people, they don't want to talk to ChatGPT because they don't know where the data is going, what's going to happen in the future, right? Now we are talking about individual health records
Right.
and what they're going to do with the data by utilizing AI. Who knows? So we have to have strict regulations there as to how they utilize AI to manage the data. This is number one. Number two, where do they share the data? How do they share the data if they share it with another organization, another company for any purposes, right? Because the commercially, the data that they have, aside from its confidential, commercially, it is gold. They
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
use it in so many ways to
Data is gold nowadays.
upsell, cross-sell, you know?
Correct. Correct. And let me ask you a question. So, and in all honesty, I'm all for regulations on privacy, right? So, in my opinion, it can't be PII information coming through. Just needs to be. It doesn't have to say my name. It doesn't. It says male, 61,
Mhm.
Height, weight. That's it, right? From a AI perspective, that's all you really need. So I'm okay with that. The problem I have is, again, like on our last episode, you got to be careful because regulations will stifle innovation, right? So let's say the data privacy conversation goes down the hole of we don't want you to they regulate how you're communicating diseases and things of that nature. Well, let's pick diabetes. Now I know they would never say no to this, but let's say they say, diabetes is a personal thing. You can't have that information. I think regulation could stifle innovation, right? So let's say a pharmaceutical company wants to create a new diabetes drug, or we want to better understand diabetes, right? Starting to hear rumblings in the medical world that type 2 diabetes may not be related to sugar. Now, I think that's a good study to have if I have a repository of data. With regulation, we've seen in the past how regulations slow that process down. So now you have people dying, you have people getting type 2 diabetes, you have people potentially taking the wrong medication, right? Look at let's I can't use I only use trade names. The GPL1s, right? What if in 10 years they start to find out that those things are not working well? Now I know the individual pharmaceutical companies do their own testing. I'm talking AI could help find that a lot quicker, combined with all GLP-1s. But if I have regulations in there, I'm going to slow that process down.
Well, the reason I'm for the regulation is especially to make sure individuals' health record are safe and they don't do any commercial motivated analysis on it or sharing on it. So that is my
Okay, so
core point, right? However, if we are to utilize AI for science purposes, right? To find the cure of disease, finding preventive way of certain treatments, for example. These are great, and the regulation there maybe to document it and make sure all the tests and other records are retrievable, reportable for any future audits and things like that, right? In that nature. So in that sense, AI is golden. I mean, it's just great that we can always utilize it for science purposes. However, let's think about the medicine
Okay,
companies.
so
Yeah.
let me stop you on that one. Because pharmaceuticals are theoretically science purposes. So you got to be very careful when you say scientific purposes, right? So this is where regulation scares me, because you just said scientific purposes. That is a broad spectrum, right? And unless the regulatory guidelines state very specifically, we've seen how they'll take a phrase,
Okay.
and the lawyers will make sure that phrase, that they skirt that Occam's razor edge, and says, yeah, well, theoretically this is science, and I can show this in a court of law, and so I'm okay with that. I agree with you. As long as no PII data is being exposed, and you want to use it for scientific purposes, I think that's great.
Well, where I was going was pharmaceutical companies are for profit, right? So anything they do is for profit purposes. So when I'm saying for research purposes, you can utilize AI, but then that depends on how you prompt AI, right? So you just wanna address illness. You just want to find a cure, or you're trying to find a cure in a way that it's going to be subscription based. It's never going to go away. But then you need to keep subscribing, you need to keep buying. Because this is all about commercialization of the cure.
So you bring up a valid point. We've been talking AI as a repository of a larger health database.
Yes.
But if you try to tell Pfizer you can't use AI, right? You see where I'm going? So, I'm okay, centralized location. I'm okay, large database. But now, how do I tell a for-profit company you cannot use technology?
They need to be audited, and you need to have the audit AI.
Okay, so healthcare in this country is horribly expensive.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. You know how much are we paying in US per person? On average, $15,000 a year per person.
How much increase is AI? Because what you just said to me says more money, and it's not going to trickle. It's going to trickle down to one area, us, right? Everything healthcare does is trickled back down to us through insurance, through everything else. So I'm also concerned that the prices, and you can't have government subsidies. We're already in a horrible, government's already just doesn't do very well with its own financing. So my concern also is that AI is definitely going to, the footprint's going to cause, and I'm also concerned. Well, that actually, I'm gonna prove your regulation.
Someone said regulation.
I can't do it.
Did I hear regulation?
Anyway, yeah, because think about it, right? You could theoretically develop, like sometimes they'll develop something to then have an adverse reaction to then cause this product to be sold more efficiently. You got that. So I'm sort of siding with you. Like I said, I told you.
That was my point.
It was difficult.
I think conversation is over. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. But okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so I keep revolving around the same thing, innovation. But what I fear for is the innovation, but more from a point of startups, right? So let's say you have a proven methodology of genetically testing for diabetes 2, so that you can say you're going to be predisposed. They actually have that now. But let's say you have something that you want to bring to market. regulatory will make that a lot slower. And again, when we're talking healthcare, my concern is that people will be dying waiting for the regulatory commissions to start moving stuff forward. Although when COVID hit, right, everything was fast tracked,
True.
right, and people did not like that. So we bypassed a
Yeah.
lot
Yes. Yes.
of stuff
Yeah.
to get this.
Yeah.
These
You got the
vaccines,
vaccine
that's
like
what- that's
this.
what-
You got the
It's
vaccine
almost like
Correct.
this. It was pretty quick.
How did that happen? Yeah, most drugs are taken. And if you watch the lineage, I always remember drugs taking 10 years, 8 years, right? Now it's like they're going. What happened to the
Mhm.
previous regulatory, right? Because that's regulated,
Mhm.
isn't it? Why all of a sudden the drugs hitting the market a lot faster than they
Yeah,
were?
I think
Yeah.
to your point,
AI
AI even speed up the process of the regulation too in this sense. See, when they were right now there is no AI. Many things are actually manual, right? They need to do the testing. It needs to go to the authorities. They need to go check the records, read the reports, and things like that. So this process can be sped up with the help of AI. Right? This is number one.
You got to be careful though, right? We're talking health, right? I'm not talking financing. If I make a mistake,
yeah.
oh well, right? If the AI is not dead on,
Mhm.
it still has to have human oversight,
True.
right? Because
Absolutely.
even
Absolutely.
to that process,
Absolutely.
right? So I can write an algorithm that's going to say, run through an algorithm that says, let's run this test through AI instead of an actual test, right? With real people and or rats or what animals, whatever we're doing.
Yes.
And I know, you could do that today, but that doesn't make the outcome. You have to still validate
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely. I
outcome.
mean, there is going to be humans in the regulation. That's for sure.
Correct.
And I'm not saying let's just leave the regulation process to AI. God, no. Definitely not. I'm saying AI can have regulation as well, since I'm pro-regulation. And the root cause of our problem is actually privatized healthcare. That's the main problem. So
Yeah, we
as
can
long
agree
as
with
we
that, right?
as long
We're both-
as we live our faith, our future to profit-driven, money-hungry, greedy health insurance industry, no matter what AI or what type of technology you're gonna bring, you're gonna be still the most expensive healthcare providing country in the world. Right now we are number one, $15,000 per capita. Right? Do you know how much are they paying in Europe? Half of it.
No.
Yes, Germany, France. UK is a modern countries that we can really compare to US in terms of their systems.
So
Half of it.
So
Who is getting rich?
My problem becomes you gotta first fix the
I'm
problem.
gonna use
we
AI
have.
for the analysis.
Yeah, but see, the problem is it's broken, and they're still processing AI right now. They're using
They're
it.
using it. That's for
Right?
sure.
I mean, there's
No
not
doubt
a
about it.
pharmaceutical company. I know this for a fact. Pharmaceutical companies are using
I'm
AI
sure they.
in many.
Who's gonna
many
know?
What ifs? Well,
See, the official records will still be the way that they are doing right now, but how they come to that point is gonna be highly likely AI driven.
what they're using it for now is situational based assessments. Basically, if COVID breaks out in South Africa, what are the odds and how quickly it's going to spread based off of current data? So that's where I think pharmaceuticals are right now. I think they're heading in a much
That's
different
it.
direction.
That's all they're using it
No,
for.
I
Really?
Well,
I'm
listen,
using
I don't
empathy
work in
right now. So I
pharmaceutical
put myself in the issue. So I'm right now the pharmaceutical executive. I need to make money. What do I do?
But you're also proving my point. And how can I go for regulations when the system is broken in the first place? Because all that's going to do is make an already complicated system. And we both know AI algorithms are not open source. Now, so I turn around and I develop a new drug, and the AI comes up XYZ. How do I know what it's doing? I don't. So we talked about this last time too, that and I don't know how you fix that, right? Regulations. Could we regulate that and say, well, it's got to be peer
So you know what they
reviewed
should be
by
doing? I'm
technology
thinking right
companies?
now as a solution. They should disclose it. Hey, we are using this type of AI technology for this type of research or evaluation or reporting purpose. They have to disclose it. They cannot use AI as part of regulation to
So currently, right now,
conceal the
you
technology.
think OpenAI is gonna expose what large language model, what it's doing? Do you think they'll make that open?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big, because you got a lot of money behind those. And if I'm gonna call the I'm a profit business. This is capitalistic society.
Oh yeah, yeah. No
How
doubt
I
about
want to
it.
choose,
and that's the main problem. We are capitalistic on the healthcare industry.
I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Right. I paid $2
I
million.
do too. We all do.
No. I'm talking about me. Let's say I'm the owner of the pharmaceutical company, right? As a private citizen, and I have my company. I pay $2 million for this AI. I'm not giving that up without a fight. I don't think you're going to get that. That's my point.
Well,
I mean, it's great to say, let's have
investments
that.
can fail.
What's that?
Investments can fail. I mean, just because they pay $2 million for an AI technology, that doesn't mean government or regulation authorities they have to say, "Oh, you spent $3 million.
But then what'll happen?
How can it go waste?"
And what'll happen is they'll stop funding it. They'll stop putting money into AI. What's if you're going to regulate you?
Well,
You could regulate it out
right
of.
now, US is the most profitable healthcare market in the world. Believe me, they will invest in it.
So, all right. So let me ask you another.
They're in stock exchange. They have to make money.
I know, and this is the
All
crux.
of them. They're all on stock
This
exchange.
is the crux of AI. It's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
This is not. I don't think. Let's be real here. There are very few companies trying to use AI to help the benefit of man. The rest of them, just trying to get money.
That is why I'm pro-regulation. So you can slow down the progress a little bit, but then how they use the data, how they utilize AI.
I'll agree with that. I think the regulatory conversation will slow it down, which is something we need to do. Because one of my cons is once you start, you know how quickly technology moves. When you put regulations, it does slow it down. Now that's a good and a bad, right? Because again, healthcare, we're talking people dying, right? So I am for that because I don't think there are many people that would argue that we got to slow it down a bit. And I think that we're ignoring it right now.
I agree. You know, when they're going to slow it down? The moment that organizations, companies, institutions, they start laying off people in thousands.
Oh, did you hear about India?
What is it?
One of the companies laid off 24,000 people or something like that. It was I probably screwing up the number, but I think it was somebody on LinkedIn. I think Anthony from Long Island Tech Advisors or somebody put something out that they're Microsoft, they're laying them off by droves because I can get one developer with AI to do the job of 5 developers.
I'm not really surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not really surprised.
But
I mean, some professionals will get hit so bad, and coding is one of them.
But that is, I've been in technology business 35 years.
Yeah,
I've seen it before, right? If you're in that business, you have to decide where you're going. Yep. I had to decide what technology stack I wanted to be out under because, some of them were flash in the pans and some of them weren't. The ones that were flash in the pans, the people who took it, their skill sets went down because it's really it's no longer available.
So here, I'm shifting the conversation a little bit to
We're getting away from the healthcare.
But let's talk about the technology in another conversation, because that's a little valid point in terms of AI's impacts on professions,
Oh, yeah.
and and humans.
That's a good
really.
idea. I might, you know what?
If I take
We'll add that.
the conversation back towards healthcare, we even gonna see this. So, you get the blood test, and you get the blood test results. Right now, you can put this in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is telling you everything as if you are talking to a doctor. So, are we going to be in need of doctors in the future?
Of course you will.
Okay.
But what's going to control that is, again, you have to expose the algorithm, right? So if you know what the algorithm's doing, and it produces X, and it's verified that that is the truth, and we run that multiple times, and it still runs the truth, that's a theoretical positive, right?
Okay.
I don't think you're going to have to get rid of that. I don't think so. I think because
Do you know how much does it cost to get a doctor in terms of training, education?
Yes.
Not to mention,
Yeah,
to be a doctor, you need to get into hundreds of
Let me
thousands
ask
of
you a
dollars
question.
of debt.
Would you allow AI to diagnose you?
I will.
You
When
would?
it's ready. When it's ready, I will.
Not me.
I will. Because
I would.
I've been testing it, and the results that I'm getting. I mean, not right now, of course, not right now, but in the future, that is a valid solution.
I would prefer. See, because you would never know, and I still don't know.
How would you know with a doctor?
That's my point. That's my point. Even today, doctor says you got XYZ. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, and then what do? We go get second opinion. We go to another
Correct.
doctor, because the first doctor, we trust him, her,
Well,
not. But
actually,
then you get second
to your point,
why do we go second AI?
No, but why do we go to a second doctor? Why? Because we don't trust the first doctor, and every doctor. See, this is really scary. Holy
See
crap.
my point?
No, think about this though. Doctors will tell you.
Doctors are gone. I'm telling you, doctors are gone. The medical practice is gonna change. It's gonna be. We're gonna. I think the last thing they're gonna be replaced is nurses, because we will need like human touch to just to comfort people and care. But they will be replaced too. And these are difficult jobs.
I know, but
they're very difficult.
Look what you have today. You have a doctor or a PA, right? PA is not theoretically a doctor. Please don't kill me, PAs. They go through the same schooling.
This is not us. We are not creating the AI. We are just discussing about it.
My point is,
I don't own a hospital either. So I mean, if it was up to me, I would just have this only humans. But then,
do I think the doctor of today is going to be the doctor of tomorrow? No. Do I think you're still going to have a doctor? Yes. I don't know what that's going to look like, right? That doctor will have. I think that doctor needs to understand certain things, and may still have to go to medical school, but it may be a much shorter medical school, so that would then lower the cost of getting doctors. So wait, but let's think about that.
I haven't said anything yet.
Tony, if you shut the heck up for 2 minutes.
May I counter? So about healthcare industry, right? So what's going to happen is that in the future, there is going to be human-powered hospitals and AI-powered hospitals, right? But then because of the cost differences, human-powered hospital is not going to be able to compete. Then they're just going to be wiped out, right? So all we're going to be seeing is maybe
I can
welcoming humans in the welcoming area, the lobby, until they come up with the robots and little like other than that, like we can really automate entire hospital operation. Welcoming to the sign up. And you're gonna have your QR code right here. You're gonna scan it. They're gonna see everything. All this stuff. This is really realistic. I mean, I'm seeing right now. I'm using ChatGPT for the blood test results. And everything that they told me, he told me in the ChatGPT's results, right? Spot on. Okay, I'm not saying it's always right, but in my it's an experiment. Right now, it's an experiment. Right? So I showed to doctor.
Yes.
I went to doctor.
People are using it as an experiment.
And then I went doctor after, right? And the doctor was telling me these things. I already knew it like 3 days earlier with ChatGPT.
So, but that's diagnosing.
Are you gonna go to the
normal traditional
surgery
stuff.
now?
Are you going to go to the
We are going there now?
surgery?
Robots.
No.
We are going there now?
Well,
Robots.
listen, in all honesty, the way, first of all, robots are already in surgery.
Okay.
They're already there.
Okay.
But it's a doctor
Yeah.
overseeing it. And I think that's where we're heading, that there will always be, because the reality is, are we going to be like in that movie, Wall-E, where we're floating on a ship somewhere, just fat and roly-poly because we've never gotten off our ass because the whole automation has now, I don't think that's the end result. All right, so
Let's do
we
that.
got to wrap it back up.
So regulate AI
So-
is coming. That's for sure. And that's it.
I will say, I'm okay with regulation for privacy and security, but I do think we have
Always
to be very
regulate
cautious.
AI. You don't know what is in the
Always
coding.
regulate
We are in
AI.
technology. You gotta double
Coding.
check. You need to audit the AI with the audit AI.
Audit AI.
So
with the
that's
audit
my
AI.
final saying.
That's my final statement.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending the podcast. I'm Tony Lucidi, Lucidi
Kevin
Technical
Deveji.
Solutions,
I really enjoyed this
Deveji.
conversation with
I really
my
enjoyed this
co-host.
conversation.
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time on Two Guys All
Stay
Things
tuned.
Tech.
Thank